state. Starring dog.
It is. Landmarks. Landmarks number 7. Starry Most. Lit. Old Bridge, also known as Mostar Bridge, is a rebuilt 16th century Ottoman bridge in the city of Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina. It crosses the river Neretva and connects the two parts of the city, which is named after the bridge keepers, Mustari, who guarded the Starry Most during the Ottoman era. During the Croat-Bosniak War, the Army of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina used the bridge as a military supply line, leading the Croatian Defense Council, HVO, to shell and destroy it on the 9th of November 1993. Subsequently, the bridge was reconstructed, and it reopened on the 23rd of July 2004. In 2017, the ICTY deemed that the shelling was legal, and that the bridge was a legitimate military target. The old bridge is an exemplary piece of Balkan Islamic architecture. It was commissioned by Suleiman the Magnificent in 1557, and designed by Mimar Hayreddin, a student and apprentice of the architect Mimar Sinan.
The Iguazu National Park, Spanish, Parque Nacional Iguazu, is a national park of Argentina, located in the Iguazu department, in the north of the province of Misiones, Argentine Mesopotamia. It has an area of 677 square kilometers, 261 square miles.
The Rock of Gibraltar, from the Arabic name Jabal Jarik, meaning Mountain of Tariq, is a monolithic limestone mountain 426 meters, 1,398 feet, high, dominating the western entrance to the Mediterranean Sea. It is situated near the end of a narrow 9 kilometers, 5.6 miles, long promontory stretching due south into the Mediterranean Sea, and is located within the British territory of Gibraltar. The rock is 27 kilometers northeast of Tarifa, Spain, the southwestern tip of Europe on the Iberian Peninsula. The rock serves as a fortress and contains a labyrinthine network of man-made tunnels known as the Tunnels of Gibraltar. Most of the rock's upper area comprises a nature reserve which is home to about 300 Barbary macaques. It is a major tourist attraction. The Rock of Gibraltar, the northern of the two historic pillars of Hercules, was known to the Romans as Mons Calpe, Mount Calpe. The southern pillar of Hercules on the African side of the Strait of Gibraltar was known as Mons Abila, identified today as either Monte Hacho or Jebel Musa. According to an ancient legend fostered by the Greeks and the Phoenicians and later adopted by the Romans, the two pillars mark the western limit of the known world. Moai or Moai, M-O-H-I, Spanish, Moai, Rapa Nui, Moai, lit. Statue, a monolithic human figures carved by the Rapa Nui people on Rapa Nui, Easter Island, in eastern Polynesia between the years 1250 and 1500. Nearly half are still at Rano Raraku. The main Moai quarry, but hundreds were transported from there and set on stone platforms called ahu around the island's perimeter. Almost all moai have overly large heads, which account for 3/8 of the size of the whole statue. They also have no legs. The moai are chiefly the living face, Aringa Ora, of deified ancestors, Aringa Ora Eta Tapuna. The statues still gaze inland across their clan lands when Europeans first visited the island in 1722, but all of them had fallen by the latter part of the 19th century. The moai were toppled in the late 18th and early 19th centuries, possibly as a result of European contact or internecine tribal wars. The production and transportation of the more than 900 statues is considered a remarkable creative and physical feat. The tallest moai erected, called Paro, was almost 10 meters, 33 feet, high and weighed 82 tons, 81 long tons, 90 short tons. The heaviest moai erected was a shorter but squatter moai at Ahu Tongariki, weighing 86 tons, 85 long tons, 95 short tons. One unfinished sculpture, if completed, would be approximately 21 meters, 69 feet tall, with a weight of about 145 to 165 tons, 143 to 162 long tons, 160 to 182 short tons. Statues are still being discovered as of 2023.
Potala Palace, Bod, or Bur, Tibetan, Potala Pho Brang Chinese, Budala Gong, is the name of a museum in Xizang Autonomous Region of China, previously a palace of the Bo sovereign in Yu, the Dalai Lama. In the Dizong style, in Lhasa, capital of Bod, He, and historically Yu, U. It was the winter palace of the Dalai Lamas from 1649. In 1959 the Bo government ceased inhabitation because a previous invasion by the People's Republic of China caused transfer of governmental power. The palace is named after Mount Potalaka, which within Buddhist thought is the mythical abode of the Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara. The fifth Dalai Lama made decree for its construction in 1645, with advice of Konchog Chophel, the 35th Ganden Tripper of the monastical tradition of Tsongkhapa. The Potala is on ruins of the White or Red Palace, built by decree of Songtsen Gampo in 637. Built at an altitude of 3,700 meters. On the side of Ri Mapo, Red Mountain, in the center of Lhasa Valley, the building measures 400 meters east-west and 350 meters north-south, with sloping stone walls averaging 3 meters thick and 5 meters thick at the base, and with copper poured into the foundations to help proof it against earthquake. The Potala is 13 stories of buildings which contain over 1,000 rooms, 10,000 shrines and about 200,000 statues. The building height is 119 meters on Mapo Ri, and more than 300 meters in total above the valley floor.
The Little Mermaid, statue. The Little Mermaid, Danish, Den Lille Havfru, is a bronze statue by Edvard Eriksson, depicting a mermaid becoming human. The sculpture is displayed on a rock by the waterside at the Langelini Promenade in Copenhagen, Denmark. It is 1.25 meters, 4.1 feet, tall and weighs 175 kilograms, 385 pounds. Based on the 1837 fairy tale of the same name by Danish author Hans Christian Andersen. The small and unimposed statue is a Copenhagen icon and has been a major tourist attraction since its unveiling in 1913. In recent decade it has become a popular target for defacement by vandals and political activists. Mermaid is among iconic statues that symbolize cities. Others include the statue of Painter of the Reef in Napier, Mannequin Piss in Brussels, the Statue of Liberty in New York, Christ the Redeemer in Rio de Janeiro, Smok Wawelski, Wawel Dragon, in Krakow, Poland, or Nelson's Column and Eros in London. The Willis Tower, formerly and still commonly referred to as the Sears Tower, is a 110-story, 1,451-foot, 442.3 meters, skyscraper in the Loop Community area of Chicago in Illinois, United States. Designed by architect Bruce Graham and engineer Fazlur Rahman Khan of Skidmore, Owings and Merrill, SOM, it opened in 1973 as the world's tallest building, a title that it held for nearly 25 years. It is the third tallest building in the Western Hemisphere, as well as the 23rd tallest in the world. Each year, more than 1.7 million people visit the Skydeck observation deck. The highest in the United States, make it one of Chicago's most popular tourist destinations. The building occupies a site bound by Franklin Street, Jackson Boulevard, Wacker Drive, and Adams Street. Graham and Khan designed the building as 9 square, tube, clustered in a 3x3 matrix, 7 of the tube set back at upper floors. The tower has 108 stories as counted by standard methods. Though the building's owners count the main roof as 109 and the mechanical penthouse roof as 110. The facade is made of anodized aluminum and black glass. The base of the building contains a retail complex known as the Catalog. The lower half of the tower was originally occupied by retail company Sears, which had its headquarters there until 1994, while the upper stories were rented out. The structure was known as the Sears Tower from its construction until the name rights were included in a 2009 lease with the Willis Group. Local area residents still refer to the building by its old name. As of April 2018, the building's largest tenant is United Airlines, which occupies around 20 floors. Other major tenants include the building's namesake Willis Towers Watson, and law firms Schiff Hardin and Seyfarth Shaw. Morgan Stanley became the building's fourth largest tenant in 2017.
Hagia Sophia, Turkish, Hagia Sophia, Ottoman Turkish, Greek, Hagia Sophia, Hagia Sophia, Latin, Sancta Sapientia, lit. Holy Wisdom. Officially the Hagia Sophia Grand Mosque, Turkish. Hagia Sophia I Kabir Kami I Sharifai, Ottoman Turkish, is a mosque and former church serving as a major cultural and historical site in Istanbul, Turkey. The last of 3 church buildings to be successively erected on the site by the Eastern Roman Empire. It was complete in AD 537, becoming the world's largest interior space and among the first to employ a fully pendentive dome. It is considered the epitome of Byzantine architecture and is said to have changed the history of architecture. From its dedication in 360 until 1453, Hagia Sophia served as the Cathedral of Constantinople in the Byzantine liturgical tradition. Except for the period 1204 to 1261, when the Latin Crusaders installed their own hierarchy. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, it served as a mosque, having its minarets added soon after. The site became a museum in 1935. and was redesignated as a mosque in 2020. In 2024, the upper floor of the mosque began to serve as a museum once again. The current structure was built by the Byzantine Emperor Justinian I as the Christian Cathedral of Constantinople between 532 to 537, and was designed by the Greek geometers Isidore of Miletus and Anthemius of Tralles. It was formerly called the Church of God's Holy Wisdom, Greek, Narutuio to Sophiae, Romanize, Naos tes Hagias tu Theou Sophias, the third church of the same name to occupy the site. As the prior one had been destroyed in the Nika riots. As the episcopal see of the Ecumenical Patriarch of Constantinople, it remained the world's largest cathedral for nearly 1,000 years. Until the Seville Cathedral was completed in 1520. Hagia Sophia became the quintessential model for Eastern Orthodox Church architecture, and its architectural style was emulated by Ottoman mosques 1,000 years later. The Hagia Sophia served as an architectural inspiration for many other religious buildings, including the Hagia Sophia in Thessaloniki, Panagia Ekatontopiliani, the Shehzade Mosque, the Suleymaniye Mosque, the Rustam Pasha Mosque, and the Kulij Ali Pasha Complex. As the religious and spiritual center of the Eastern Orthodox Church for nearly 1,000 years, the church was dedicated to holy wisdom. The church has been described as holding a unique position in the Christian world, and as an architectural and cultural icon of Byzantine and Eastern Orthodox civilization. It was where the excommunication of Patriarch Michael I Cerularius was officially delivered by Humbert of Silva Candida, the envoy of Pope Leo IX in 1054. An act considered the start of the East-West Schism. In 1204, it was converted during the Fourth Crusade into a Catholic cathedral under the Latin Empire, before being restored to the Eastern Orthodox Church upon the restoration of the Byzantine Empire in 1261. Enrico Dandolo, the Doge of Venice who led the Fourth Crusade and the 1204 sack of Constantinople, was buried in the church. After the fall of Constantinople to the Ottoman Empire in 1453, it was converted to a mosque by Mehmed the Conqueror and became the principal mosque of Istanbul until the 1616 construction of the Sultan Ahmed Mosque. The Patriarchate moved to the Church of the Holy Apostles, which became the city's cathedral. The complex remained a mosque until 1931, when it was closed to the public for 4 years. It was reopened in 1935 as a museum under the Secular Republic of Turkey, and the building was Turkey's most visited tourist attraction as of 2019. In 2020, the Council of State annulled the 1934 decision to establish the museum, and the Hagia Sophia was reclassified as a mosque. The decision was highly controversial, sparking divided opinions and drawing condemnation from the Turkish opposition, UNESCO, the World Council of Churches, and the International Association of Byzantine Studies, as well as numerous international leaders, while several Muslim leaders in Turkey and other countries welcomed its conversion.
Everglades National Park is a national park of the United States that protects the southern 20% of the original Everglades in Florida. The park is the largest tropical wilderness in the United States and the largest wilderness of any kind east of the Mississippi River. An average of 1 million people visit the park each year. Everglades is the third largest national park in the contiguous United States after Death Valley and Yellowstone. It was declared a national park in 1947. UNESCO declared the Everglades and Dry Tortugas Biosphere Reserve in 1976 and listed the park as a World Heritage Site in 1979. And the Ramsar Convention included the park on its list of wetlands of international importance in 1987. Everglades is one of only 3 locations in the world to appear on all 3 lists. Most national parks preserve unique geographic features. Everglades National Park was the first created to protect a fragile ecosystem. The Everglades are a network of wetlands and forests fed by a river flowing 0.25 miles, 0.40 kilometers, per day out of Lake Okeechobee, southwest into Florida Bay. The park is the most significant breeding ground for tropical wading birds in North America, and contains the largest mangrove ecosystem in the Western Hemisphere. 36 threatened or protected species inhabit the park, including the Florida panther, the American crocodile, and the West Indian manatee, along with 350 species of birds. 300 species of fresh and saltwater fish, 40 species of mammal, and 50 species of reptile. The majority of South Florida's fresh water, which is stored in the Biscayne Aquifer, is recharged in the park. Humans have lived for thousands of years in or around the Everglades. Plans arose in 1882 to drain the wetlands and develop the land for agricultural and residential use. As the 20th century progressed, water flow from Lake Okeechobee was increasingly controlled and diverted to enable explosive growth of the Miami metropolitan area. The park was established in 1934 to protect the quickly vanishing Everglades, and dedicate in 1947, as major canal building projects were initiated across South Florida. The ecosystems in Everglades National Park have suffered significantly from human activity, and restoration of the Everglades is a politically charged issue in South Florida.
The Kaaba, Arabic, Romanize, Al-Kaaba, lit. The cube, also spelled Kaaba, Kamba or Kaaba, sometimes referred to as Al-Kaaba al-Musharafa, Arabic, Romanize. Al-Kaaba el-Musharafa, lit. The honored Kaaba is a stone building at the center of Islam's most important mosque and holiest site, the Masjid al-Haram in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. It is considered by Muslims to be the Baytullah, Arabic, lit. House of God, and determines the Qibla, Arabic, lit. Direction of prayer, for Muslims around the world. In early Islam, Muslims face in the general direction of Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem as the Qibla in their prayers before changing the direction to face the Kaaba. Believed by Muslims to be a result of a Quranic verse revelation to Muhammad. According to Islam, the Kaaba was rebuilt several times throughout history, most famously by Ibrahim and his son Ismail. When he returned to the Valley of Mecca several years after leaving his wife Hajar and Ismail there upon Allah's command. The current structure was built after the original building was damaged by a fire during the siege of Mecca by the Umayyads in 683 CE. circling the Kaaba 7 times counterclockwise. Known as Tawaf, Arabic, Romanized, Tawaf, is a fard rite for the completion of the Hajj and Umrah pilgrimages. The area around the Kaaba where pilgrims walk is called the Mataf. The Kaaba and the Mataf are surrounded by pilgrims every day of the Islamic year, except the 9th of Dhu al-Hijjah, known as the Day of Arafah, on which the cloth covering the structure, known as the Kiswa, Arabic, Romanize, Kiswa, lit. Cloth, is changed. However, the most significant increase in their numbers is during Ramadan and the Hajj, when millions of pilgrims gather for Tawaf. According to the Saudi Ministry of Hajj and Umrah, 6,791,100 external pilgrims arrived for the Umrah pilgrimage in 1439 AH, 2017-2018 CE.